Afcon, just 3 days away. There's a lot of excitement, but as always, there's a few stories in the mix as well.
Absolutely, Fizo. Can I be a bit of a prophet and say that this is going to be the best ever Afcon?
Whew, that's a big statement, huh?
Can I declare that now? When you look at everything that's happened around this Afcon in Morocco from CAF side, CAF just signed a deal yesterday to broadcast in 30 European territories. First time ever. Movistar in France, in Greece, all over. So, I mean, the last AFCON was shown to the final 500 million people globally. I think this AFCON is going to far exceed that. Revenue-wise, definitely.
Yeah.
So for me, I've put it down on the table now. We know who are the favorites, but overall, it's going to be the best ever AFCON.
Okay, big call. Ash, what are you looking forward to most in this AFCON? I mean, everyone has been hyping it up, so there's just adding a little bit more to the fire there as well.
You know, whenever a tournament is starting, especially the AFCON, it's always the opening ceremony. I always look forward to an opening ceremony because that's when now you see the feel of how the atmosphere and how the fans are doing, how the fans are feeling. So for me, the fan experiences during the entire tournament, how everyone is just going to receive Morocco hosting it. So there's just so many things I'm looking forward to, but more so, it's 3 days to go. I want to see what Morocco will do at the opening ceremony.
But TK, I know you always casting your eye on this particular tournament. It brings a different sort of flavor, but with 3 days to go, are you surprised at some of the things that are happening?
Not at all. I mean, Africa, there's always lots of drama about Africa, and with just a few days to go, for me, I will be looking for an underdog failing Goliath, you know. I'm looking at Botswana maybe causing an upset, your Comoros, you know, all those small countries, sort of small countries that people are dismissing. I would like to see them putting one over the so-called big guns. And for me, that is what AFCON is all about. Seeing the small guy, you know, boxing out of his weight division and maybe even exchanging blows with the heavyweight. And for me, that's what the fun is all about.
I have a sneaky feeling that you're talking about the small guy, maybe Cote d'Ivoire, you know, boxing above their weight and dominating. Maybe that's a jab towards Mamadou. So I'm going to go to Mamadou and find out, is he talking about you, Mamadou, when he speaks of Cote d'Ivoire being the small team punching above their weight? I don't know.
First of all, I would like to start by congratulating Morocco for winning the FIFA Arab Cup. The final just ended a few minutes ago. They beat Jordania 3-2. And I think that could be a good omen for them going to AFCON. And this was Morocco beating. Anyway, Tika knows that a champion deserves respect. A champion is a champion. When he's talking upset, he's mentioning Botswana, Comoros. He will not dare mentioning Cote d'Ivoire.
Look, I have to admit that I was being a little bit naughty there because I'm sure Fatiko was not mentioning that. But you know, we have to add a little bit of sugar and spice to the stories. Now, my brother Giovanni, I heard a rumor that you are not happy with me, that I have not been responding to your WhatsApp messages. I can say that you're not happy there. But you know, I love you anyway. Welcome to South Africa, brother.
Thank you very much, Fizo. You're my brother as always. It's been a really fast-paced week for me, especially after the World for Life, one of the biggest sporting events in Cameroon, and then the Cameroon Cup, and then I got my flight to Morocco.
Yeah, no, look, we're looking forward to having a lot of conversations with you around what is happening. But I'm going to start with you, Mamadou, and I just want to get your thoughts with regards to the build-up to the Africa Cup of Nations and how you've seen it across the continent.
I think it's very exciting. You can see clubs arriving in Morocco in their traditional attire, in their cultural attire, and that is spicing up the whole African Nation Cup. You like it or not, African Nation Cup is unique. It's unique, and today, most of the that are making European football are from Africa or from African descent. That's why everybody is having an eye on African football. Even Sudesh mentioned the fact that so many European countries now don't want to miss the African Nation Cup. And I think, believe me, during the African Nation Cup, people will forget about La Liga, they will forget about the Premier League, they will forget about all those leagues in Europe. The focus will be in Africa, and you can already see the vibe in each and every African country, and even in Morocco.
All right, no, I mean, look, there's still so much that we're going to speak about throughout the show. Maybe before I even get into our first subject, I want to just throw something into the panel here with regards to the Africa Cup of Nations itself. There's a big fight for people to recognize that this is one of the big tournaments in the world. But does the drama leading up to Afcon and all the issues that we were going to speak about, does it help us with regards to, I guess, people taking this tournament seriously in other parts of the world?
Yeah, Fizo, that has always been age-old debate, especially the tug-of-war club versus country in Europe. And I think Afcon deserves the respect it does, because you look at the players. If I just give you a rundown, from the Turkish Super League, there's 21 players. France League 1, there's 50 players. EPL, 32 players. Serie A, 21 players. Bundesliga, 18 players. These are a few of the top 5. Imagine the rest. So there's over 200 players, African players, who are playing in Europe. So it shows that the quality that Africa has and contributes to European football. And I think, there should be the respect. Mamadou mentioned the Afcon is a very special tournament. You look at the history of the Afcon, it brings a lot of history into it, and it has grown. Every edition has grown and grown. Even like now, the prize money has increased under the leadership of Dr. Motsepe. There's $32 million at stake. The winner gets $7 million, something that's unheard of. And when you rank it around the other confeds, it's only the Copa America and the Euros who gives more prize money than the Afcon. So it's surely one of the top, international competitions out there.
All right, so look, we're still going to get stuck into all the subjects, as I did mention, but I think the very first thing that we want to speak about is, of course, the drama around Nigeria and the DRC. That is, of course, with the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Pratike, what's going on there? And I know it's something that you have a lot of passion for, and you want to sink your teeth into.
You can't wait.
Look, I somehow get a feeling that there's somebody higher up, either in CAF or FIFA in particular, in FIFA, who wants Nigeria at the World Cup by hook or crook. I mean, who tipped Nigeria that South Africa fielded an ineligible player in Tebogo Mokoena? Now, who tipped Nigeria again that the DRC have 9 ineligible players? And when they tipped them about South Africa, Nigeria still failed to qualify. They are now tipping them about the DR Congo. Heaven knows. I think Nigeria are clutching at straws. They lost in the field of play, and I think they must be gracious enough, they must be sportsmen enough, and just accept that this was not their time. Maybe the next World Cup, maybe the next, or the next after that, they will qualify.
Wow,
but right now,
also, why not?
To back Brati, I mean, the information that comes out about dual nationality between 6 and 9 players, the number, where does that information come from? Nigeria must just accept and look forward, start building, focus on the Afcon, and look to qualify for 2030,
I think it's unfortunate because they're using the World Cup. They could have just taken the loss and say they were outplayed. They had so many opportunities to stay in the game. They were outplayed totally, and it's unfortunate that they're trying to now break their brand. They've got such a beautiful brand. Nigeria is such a strong brand in the African continent, and if they can use that, whatever emotions that they're feeling for Afcon, it will help them.
If they can't beat Lesotho, they can't beat Zimbabwe, they can't beat South Africa, they can't beat the DR Congo.
That's what I'm saying, Brad.
And they still feel they
should take the
deserve to
loss.
qualify for the World Cup.
Nigerians need to just take the loss and say, listen, this was not our time. We're not going to be at the 2026 World Cup.
Absolutely.
You know, there are
Move
even
on.
people in Nigeria,
Afcon is
respected
coming.
people, they're actually embarrassed by this. They're actually telling the NFF, drop everything, just accept it and let it go, you know.
Look, we've got two award-winning journalists that are on Zoom with us. So maybe I want to throw it to them as well. Do Nigeria have a case here, Mamadou and Giovanni? I'm going to start with you, Mamadou.
Definitely Nigeria have a case. When you put in your own constitution, in the constitution of your country, that you don't recognize dual citizenship. I have many Congolese friends in South Africa. When they wanted to take the citizenship of South Africa, they had to go to the embassy, write a letter and renegade on their Congolese citizenship. Clear. Now, how do you play for Congo and have dual citizenship when your own country does not recognize it and it's written in the constitution? As a country, you have to respect your own constitution. And I think Nigeria have a case. These people are carrying European passport and coming to play for DRC. They cannot be Congolese because the constitution of Congo says you can only be Congolese with only one passport, Congo passport.
Why did
But
Nigeria
then
make
it's
the
a
complaints
clear
before they even play the
and
playoffs?
a clear violation of the rule.
But if FIFA say if you have a grandparent or a mother or a father who comes from DR Congo, and then somehow you qualify to represent Congo, then so be it. And FIFA saw that, and then they gave them, they allowed them.
In that case, you drop your French passport, your Dutch passport, you are allowed to be only citizen of Congo according to their constitution. Football is not bigger than the constitution of any country.
So we're clear here, and I'm going to pose this to you, Giovanni, so that we are clear here. This is the law of the country, not the Football Association. Am I correct? Just to clear that up for anyone who is not sure, first and foremost. And secondly, from a player's point of view, is it to their detriment to then say, if I lose my European citizenship, it might hurt me from club-wise, it might hurt me from other things. Is there a case from their side to say, well, if I do that, I'm going to be losing out?
First off, I think Nigeria do have a case, but like TK said, going through the back door, it's Nigeria. Come on. They lost on the field of play. And if we are going to look at it from that level, then Cameroon too can come into the equation because Congo eliminated Cameroon. It's not just a Nigeria-Congo thing. Congo eliminated Cameroon. So FIFA would have to bring in Cameroon because we were eliminated by Congo. So I think it's said and done. Nigeria lost on the field of play. It's true that they do have a case, just like the case of Iboko Mopena. This is much more different. So probably it's an interesting one to watch from the World Football governing body FIFA, because come on, Nigeria, it's a World Cup, and World Cup, Nigeria has not been at the world level for some long time, and they have quite some politically that miss out on this opportunity. But then they lost the game against the Congo. Let's see what the world governing body of football is going to do for that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think just like Giovanni's saying there, I think it would open a can of worms.
Yeah.
This particular, you'd have to go so far back with regards to this. But now
they beat Zambia in the group stages, so
and now it goes into that thing of you got the national laws, then you got the FIFA laws.
Yes.
Which ones in this case do we then follow when it comes to this sort of decision?
I hear what Mamadou is saying, but the bottom line here is that if you follow the FIFA rules, they say if you have two Ghanaian English-born players who wants to play for Ghana, and there's no way that they will renounce England. They will keep the English citizenship and still be Ghanaians at the same time because they have an association with Ghana as their great-grandparents' home, you know, and they want to play for Ghana. So you want to tell me that, no, they were born in England, they still hold English citizenship or passports or whatever, so they can't play for Ghana. If they decide to play for Ghana, they are going to play for Ghana. That is why I say Nigeria are simply embarrassing themselves. They are a big country with quality players. More than 200,000 is their 200 million is their population. So I think Nigeria is a big country, a big brand with quality players. Let them just be sportsmen and say, look, we lost. Let's regroup. And then maybe we will qualify for the next squad. And not what they are trying to do.
Now it's scary.
Really,
It's scary because we're going to Afcon. What happens at Afcon? They lose a game. They'll find something in the constitution of that team, and then they'll find ways in which they'll penalize that team because they lost.
Yeah, because DRC
anything can happen. Exactly, anything can happen.
The teams are going to play against DRC. If they lose, could protest. You know? It's going to be a shame.
Yeah, look, it goes back to what I was saying with regards to opening a can of worms. That's a headache that I'm glad I don't have, and we'll be watching that one closely. And as always, we'll bring it to you fresh off the press right here on Soccer Africa with regards to that. Now, we have to go to Giovanni's country, Cameroon, because there is a lot happening there, and I have to come straight to you first because... yeah, it's a tough one. You know, I have to take a breath because I'm really confused. Giovanni, what is going on in Cameroon with regards to the two squads that have been picked, the battle with Eto'o and the sports minister? What's happening?
Well, I should make something clear here. Only we have one team preparing for the Africa Cup of Nations, and that's the team that has been listed by the Cameroon Football Federation, Fecafoot. The Confederation of African Football only communicates with Fecafoot and not the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education of Cameroon. So whatever was going or is going at that level is to end it at that. Now talking about the choice selection of the team of players like leaving out Andrew Onana and Vincent Abubakar, the coach has made it clear that it's not a sporting decision. And it's a personal decision he had to take. Andrew Onana has had the dispatch with the Cameroon Football Federation, headed by Samuel Eto'o, of course. Remember that in 2022, Fizo, we spoke about it, he was sent out of camp at the World Cup after just one game played. Davis Ipasi finished that competition for Cameroon. And since there has been this squabble between the Cameroon Football Federation, and he was even named captain. So for the most recent past, he was named captain. So it's equally no rumors that Onana publicly supported Samuel Eto'o when he was going in for the FA seat, and he won at that level. So at the World Cup they had this part whereby Onana had issues with Rigo Benson and the way he wanted to play the game. And then Samuel took back the coach. At that time, who was Rigo Benson. So since then, there has been this back and forth. As for Vincent Abubakar, the coach thinks he cannot offer what he wants up front anymore. The reason why he's gone in for Carl, Peter Ayon, and Christian Kofani, which is a very interesting profile to follow throughout. So having said that, I think the squad that we still have can, still go on and create an upset. There are people of the opinion that the team we had in 2017 went through a similar patch. Players denying to camp. Andrew Onana was one of them. Franz Zambo Anguissa, Chukwu Moting, Joel Martin, and with what Hugo Bruce did with that team was to bring them together, believe that they could go out there and win the trophy, which they did. So. People are thinking that maybe this is just another run that is similar to that of 2017. But I have my reservations. The best players have to play. And I think Vincent Abubakar still had something to offer. Not necessarily playing 90 minutes on the field of play, but you have young guns who are coming in. And it's good. They're going to find it difficult to don the national jersey some weight needed to be taken off them. I think Abubakar is another brother that they would have spoken to. He's played several Afcons. He's won an Afcon. So, yeah, keeping him out, I personally, I think it wasn't the greatest of all things David Pago to do. But looking at the team entirely and the coach David Pago, this is a coach that has won the local championship. He's won the Cameroon Cup. He's a well-known name around the national triangle out there in Cameroon. He's played the Chan. He was fourth place in the Chan. He went fourth place as assistant coach to Martin Tongo Pile in the 2020 Chan. So yeah, he's a coach that likes the underdogs, if I'll put it that way, players that have no name yet. So he could go out there, implement the discipline, and try to win with that group because they are still hungry. They have and we are by a school with local coaches. We have MS Faye, who was of course born in France, but he's an Ivorian. We equally have Thierry Mayuma, who is a former Gabonese international, and Chikino Konde of Mozambique, who is equally a local coach. So there's going to be a battle of the local coaches. And hopefully it doesn't turn out to be a disaster, because the big difference between now and 2017, like I opined on earlier on, is that there's still some trouble inside, In 2017, everyone was moving one direction. They wanted to win the competition. Now we have friends of Onana, we have friends of Abubakar who are in the squad, and they kind of feel, why are these guys left out? So they have a lot of work to do in terms of bringing that group together and believing that they are moving towards winning the trophy.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's so many subplots here, so many stories with regards to this particular one, and it's not great to see, because Cameroon, one of the great footballing nations of our continent. And I've got to throw the question to you, Mamadou. You look at Samuel Eto'o as a leader. Sometimes they speak about, everything starting at the very top. One of the greatest players we have ever produced on the continent. But you get a sense that his reign so far has been filled by so much drama and uncertainty. What is your take on not only Eto'o as the president, but also everything that's gone on with Onana and Abubakar as well, Mamadou?
I think that once you are elected as the president of the Football Federation, people must allow you to do your work. And since Eto'o got elected, for the first time in the history of Cameroonian football, we've seen the Minister of Sport coming out of his way to appoint a coach and even to sign a contract with the coach without the implication or the involvement of the Football Federation. And I think that's where everything went wrong. As a consequence, Cameroon is out of the World Cup. Now that the minister realized that he did a huge blunder, now he's backtracking, allowing now Eto'o to find his own way and appoint his own technical staff and go to the Afcon. But it's too late for Cameroonians. They cannot understand that as Cameroon, with the biggest number of participation in the World Cup in Africa, when now it's 10 countries representing Africa, they are not there. There was a sabotage from the Ministry of Sport right from the beginning. If it did allow Eto'o and his executive committee to do their work, if they say they can be accountable, but when the minister takes in charge everything, the minister used even to book hotels different from the one the FA would book for the national team. It was a total confusion. Now that there is some kind of sanity prevailing, let's see what Cameroon is going to deliver in Morocco against Gabon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Mozambique in the group stage.
Yeah, and of course it makes things quite tricky, because now it's just bordering on government interference. We know how strict FIFA is with regards to that, and that can open up, real problems for them as a nation as well.
Yeah, I think now Samuel Eto'o has won the second term. Let him do things his way. He doesn't have the issue with the sports minister, Mark Brace. He is now fully in control. Remember, Cameroon have won the Afcon 5 times. They've got history on their side. They've got the pedigree. Amidst all of this controversy, as Giovanni says, they could come together as a team and surprise everyone, you know. So I would give Samuel Eto'o the benefit of the doubt. Yes, there's a lot of controversy around it, but a lot of unverified stories and gossips behind the scene. Let's put that away. They're going to miss a great player in Abu Bakr, but there's some good young players there, and this could drive them to close ranks and perform, you know.
I just hope they do have a very great team psychologist, because with all the stress and drama that is happening around Cameroon and their federation and the country as well, it would be nice to see that the team goes there in one accord, like Sudesh is saying, because if you're not okay mentally and psychologically for such a big tournament, it will be very hard to go there and perform, especially knowing that the team has had so much drama going on. So I hope they have a great team of leaders there to just put everybody in line, because I feel like them getting out of the group stage would be one of a great success story for them with regards to what's happening in their country.
What would an Afcon be without drama? I mean, it's not only Cameroon,
Yeah.
Nigeria, there's bonuses. Bafana, bonuses as well. There's another country, they just fired their coach as well. So the Afcon finals always have all these dramas that are going on. And look, I don't even want to dictate to Cameroon who they must choose and who. We have the same problems. There are some people who are saying to Hugo Bruce, choose Tembikosi Lodge, you know, include him in the... So it's the Afcon. So it's the Afcon. That's the drama that is always associated with the Afcon.
Yeah, no, Afcon fever is truly, and I love to see it. But even better to see my friend Giovanni. Gio, in parting, I know there's that chaos that's happening at the moment. How far do you think your team can get? Let's keep it nice and brief. Just let us know what you think your team can do, Cameroon, in this particular tournament.
Well, we're in a very difficult group. And we start with a top team in the Panthers of Gabon. They've always given us trouble. Luckily for us, Aubameyang isn't going to be playing that game. They still have enough quality to worry us. And then we go up against the Côte d'Ivoire. I think for the favorites, my top favorites to go on and win the competition, of course, I have Morocco at the top. We shouldn't sleep on the path. And I thought around the progress. I know the kind of manager he is. And I think that this could be South Africa's time to win the trophy for the second time ever. I probably have the DR Congo to do well, and I have Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal. So those are my top 5. Either of them are going to win the competition.
Yeah, no, look, I'm very happy that you are remaining hopeful, and great to see you as always, my brother. Wishing you all the best, and wishing Cameroon all the best for the Africa Cup of Nations. That is Giovanni Wane from Cameroon. Yeah, so much already that we've consumed in the show. Still so much to speak about. We're going to be heading to our neighbors from here in South Africa next. That is Zimbabwe. But first, we'll have a short break. And welcome back to Soccer Africa. We've been getting stuck into some of the hottest talking points around the African continent. And of course, the next one that we will be sinking our teeth into is, of course, Zimbabwe. That is around Marshall Munetsi, who has had a little bit of a drama with regards to his selection. And yeah, it's an interesting one, Pratike, because you look at him as being such a massive player. But first and foremost, I have to ask, is he actually injured?
I don't know, you know, see, it's quite, I remember in South Africa last week, South Africa played against Ghana and Oshwin Apolis got injured. And then we feared the worst that he will not make it, but you know, South Africa came out, the doctor injured playing for his club Wolves, and then I think Wolves offered to send their own doctor and their physio to Zimbabwe and all that, but Zimbabwe had already closed shop and said they've already selected the coaches already selected the squad that will be playing there, and that's it. So yeah,
it's a bit of a strange one because more often than not, teams will want to give their best players as much time to prove their fitness ahead of a tournament like this. Is it maybe one where Zimbabwe pulled the trigger a bit early, or
definitely?
What's the situation?
You know, I also feel, I mean, Marshall Munetsi is playing in the EPL, you know, and he's been a regular at Wolves. If he had a slight injury, there's time to recover and treat it. even if he misses the first game. Wolves are prepared to send, as Brati said, send the doctor word for him to be assessed and even be treated. Hakimi, Morocco are doing that. PSG have actually sent medical staff. He'll miss 1 or 2 games and he'll be ready. So your key player like Marcel Munetsi, you wouldn't go out of your way to have him in the squad, even if you miss the first game. So it's a bit, dubious what actually happened.
And the one thing that I've always got from Marcel Munetsi as just someone who's observed him from a distance, he seems like a really patriotic guy.
Yes.
He seems like a guy who, even if he had to play on one leg, he'd try and play for his country. What's your take, Ash? Because, it's a very strange one, this one.
I think, every player wants to play in the Afcon, especially because he's playing overseas. Coming to play in Africa gives him that momentum also, just the pride. And when he goes back to his club, I played for my country, there's that feeling. And also, Zimbabwe has had so many things going on in their federation. Coming back to Afcon is one of the biggest things for them. And now him missing out, I think it's going to affect him also. Just, would he want to come back to play for Zimbabwe the next time? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Fiso, just to add on that, you kind of pointed one thing about Munetsi that I've also observed. Munetsi is a defender, he's an anchor, and when he plays in the anchor room, he drives that team. Yes. If you saw in the World Cup qualifying game against South Africa, he really had South Africa in trouble. Whenever he had the ball, he drives the whole team. In a way, it's the ability that he has. But Wolves have also converted him into a striker. Absolutely, because of his physique and all that. So Munetsi is somebody that I think can actually add value to the Zimbabwe team. But we don't know what is it that really led the Zimbabwe technical team to say, no, they won't need him and all that. So it's questionable. It's a question that is lying out there for us. We just can't tell what it is.
And that's very disappointing. You saw how he's been doing in the Premier League. He's been consistent. He's been scoring goals. He's been very, very consistent. We would have loved to see that action.
Yeah, and I don't have the words to quite express it because, for so often we hear players having to be convinced to come and play at Afcon. Or he's a starting lineup player. He could potentially lose a spot in the Wolves team. He's saying, I want to be there. We want more of that on the African continent.
And Fizo, he sent out a very emotional statement, His wife had a miscarriage and she was in hospital. And he came to play for Zimbabwe, left her in hospital. So, that kind of commitment and patriotism. And leave all of that aside. Brati mentioned his playing abilities. He's a leader. He defends, he attacks, he scores goals. He rallies everyone around him. And you look at the Zimbabwean team, they've dropped Kama Billiard, one of the experienced guys. They've dropped Knowledge Musona's brother, Walter Musona. So they're a bit thin on there. Yes, Knowledge Musona is there, but you still need a player of the caliber of Marcel Munetsi,
I watched Zimbabwe play when they played.
As I said, there is something that happened between the player and the federation or the technical committee, which we don't know, and it is the same with us. Why is it we keep on saying let's get Thembinkosi Lodge into the team, and the technical team is saying no, we don't need him?
But it's a different case, because Marshall's been part of the team. He's been a leader in the team. Lodge hasn't been figuring for the team.
Recently,
it's probably not the same sort of a case.
I hear you, but I'm saying something must have happened between the federation and the player. And nobody seems to be coming out to say, this is what happened, and this is why we don't need Marshall at this stage. You know what I mean?
What we need, right? I can't give out my number, but if you know the story, hit us up in South Africa, because we want to find out what's going on.
We've heard some
in this, just something, we just want to know what's going on. And of course, that is a story that we'll keep our eye on, of course, hoping that Zimbabwe does do well. Now, we know that Mamadou, he's been traveling around the continent. I know he's been out in Niger. And let's speak of something that maybe has a little bit more joy to it. Mamadou, take us through what was happening in Niger, the awards. What exactly were you doing there?
But first of all, Marshall, you're talking of Marshall.
Yes.
What position is one in the EPL? Bottom.
But you still playing.
When you are bottom with your team.
But he's
You
playing
stay
in
there.
the EPL.
And help the team.
Mamadou, he's playing in the EPL. He's playing with good players, against good players, week in, week out.
Bottom of the law.
That's fine. But you are still playing in a highly competitive league.
The coach doesn't need a player that is coming right from the bottom with that spirit.
What
He must
spirit?
stay there.
So Mamadou, are you saying that Marshall will potentially bring a losing spirit to?
Of course.
And the others who play for clubs even lower?
Hey, lower, but they are not at the bottom of the law.
They are playing in lower leagues and not even in England or in the
Lower
5 leagues.
league, but you could be on top of the law. My friend.
Okay, well, look, I think it's quite a controversial statement because someone will argue and say, hey, that's still a great player, that the team is not doing well, but he's doing well. He's a shining light, Mamadou. Let's have some positivity here.
Okay, no, it's fine for him. The coach has decided, let him help his club come out of relegation zone.
No, I hear you, Mamadou, and I'll try and get the message across to them as well. But let's speak about your visit to Niger quickly. Yeah, no doubt, so many good things happened on that particular trip.
Yes, actually it was an annual award of the Niger Football Federation, and of course you have the outgoing president, Colonel Major Jibril Apele, who was being honored that day, and of course the biggest prize of the night was the Menador to reward the best player of the league. And of course it was graced by football legends like Fadiga and Ella Diouf, who was attending and who presented the Menador to the players that won it together with the Minister of Sport, and it was a celebration of Niger football to really boost and encourage the players. You can see even in the Afcon and the World Qualifiers, they missed because at the last minute the rules were changed and they missed out, Burkina Faso missed out, and Nigeria came in through the back door. And definitely Nigeria will continue going through the back door to the World Cup.
Mamadou, one of the positive things is Mamadou, one of the positive things is the general. The general stood down as the president of Niger FA because he was into the FIFA Council. And that's very noble for an African football leader to do that.
Definitely, he decided, and when he decided to step down, many people around him were telling him, no, if you go, you will lose power, you will lose your base, and remember that in 4 years' time, you will have to contest again for the FIFA Council. He told them, guys, enough is enough. It's now that I am in FIFA, it's about time I pass on the baton. That is very rare in the African continent. People came in, they accumulate position into CAF and FIFA. They don't want to allow other people to catch it, and that will be beneficial to the country. Look at it already today. The new president is a member of a committee in FIFA, in CAF. You see, then you increase your membership into all these organizations. But if you stay there alone, you are everywhere yourself and nobody else benefits. And at the end of the day, the country is the loser.
Yeah, look, I mean, It's not often that you have situations of this kind, especially, when it comes to leadership, but great leaders know when to leave the stage. And of course, it's great to see good relations between outgoing and incoming presidents across the continent.
It was practically an election by acclamation. It's true, because we can say it was 100%. Out of the 124 delegates present, 124 voted for me. We have 125 delegates in total, so there's only one delegate who wasn't at the General Assembly. So it was 100% of those present, really an acclamation. The reason is simple. It's mainly because of the work done by Colonel Major Pele over 16 years. He's someone everyone unanimously recognizes for the work he's done. And because of the work, he got the support of all football stakeholders. I've been a member of his executive committee for 13 years, so I've been by his side for 13 years, learned to work with him for 13 years, and people have known me with him for 13 years. When he decided to support my candidacy to replace him, there was total support from all football stakeholders.
I love that, because it's not often when you see leaders just saying, okay, it's time for me to pass over the baton, but to do it in such a graceful manner, Ash.
And also just being not contested. If all those people voted for him, they do believe that this person who's going to succeed, who's going to take over, would succeed. It is very nice, because a lot of people want to stay, a lot of leaders want to stay on the seat for such a long time. And we do see it all the time here. We do talk about it all the time. It's very nice to see that Niger is doing that, and in a noble way. And I hope that other African countries and federations do emulate that, because then it will improve our game in so many ways.
Succession planning, because you listen to the new president, he understudied him for about 7 years. Good succession planning takes over, so there's continuity, with one unified vision.
Exactly.
Refreshing for African football.
My concern is my own country, South Africa. When you look at Niger and the president of Niger saying that he stepped down because he has been elected to FIFA, so he gave the baton to his vice president. And the vice president has been working with the president for 13 years, studying and learning the ropes. Now, where is the succession plan in my own country's federation? If Dr. Denis Jordan decides to go out today, who will take over? That is the problem. Because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't seem to know of a succession plan, and I can point out a person who I believe will take over when Denis Jordan steps down. That is the problem, and this is what Niger is teaching us, that there needs to be a succession plan. And look, the president, when he was elected at FIFA, he didn't even hesitate. He just told the whole executive that I'm stepping down. Even though most of them begged him to stay on, he said, no, somebody else has got to take over, because a good dancer knows when to leave the stage.
And also because he trusted, I taught this person everything I know. He probably didn't hide anything from him. When you teach somebody everything from your accounts department to your literally everything, there's a good succession plan.
And what I love, maybe I'm just being biased as a young man, youth, being given a chance to lead.
Yeah. Absolutely. Younger people come with fresh ideas, they embrace technology, modern trends, and you need that to shake up, the old system as it is. And for progress to happen, you need to bring in, it's like a team. You're a football team on the field, you need a good blend of experience and youth, to actually win. Taking on that, Fizo, today, Egypt launched a vision called Vision 2038. 2038. It kicks into action next year. 12-year vision. So you'll see North African countries still dominating. We spoke about Morocco. They just won the FIFA Arab Cup, and that's with the Chan team. They've won the Under-20 World Cup. We know the history. Egypt are replicating that. They have 7 provinces. They're going to start up 7 academies with 1 national academy. So they plan runs for the next 12 years. What is the rest of Africa doing?
There's a saying where they say, a goal without a plan is a wish. And Oh, maybe there's a lot of wishful thinking around the African continent. But Mamadou, just a closing remark with regards to that handover and that change in leadership. What have you made of it, and where are the positives for you as well?
There is a lot of positives because when I went there, the award went smoothly. All the region attended, and believe me, Niger football is developing infrastructure-wise. It's amazing what they are doing. And they have a sound academy run by the Football Federation. And I think in a few years, Niger will be among the powerhouses of African football.
Yeah, look, I mean, really great to see all of the development that is happening. These are some of the facilities that are out in Niger. Great to see, Ash, that the game is developing around the continent, and there's a lot of bigger countries with bigger budgets that should be taking notes that if you have a clear plan, you are able to do things that are very positive.
Earlier when the show had started, you had asked, would all this drama that happens around African football affect what Afcon is? You see, these are positive results of how a country that is focused, a federation that is focused on its own country's development is doing. This is a winning story. And that is just exactly what our CAF president always talks about, having a plan that just does not benefit your pockets, but benefits football from the bottom all the way up. I mean, look at what happened this week alone. When you saw Mamelodi Sundowns girls winning the under-15 tournament in Zimbabwe, it's because they've got a plan at their club all the way up to the top. They've won everything here in South Africa. You see, so those are the kind of stories we need to hear, where football is developing from every tier. And that's what Niger is doing, and I hope that every other African team can emulate that. Not only celebrate them when it's Afcon and then there's huge stories, but then at the bottom there's drama. No, people are not getting, players are not getting paid. This technical team is having so many issues. We need such stories.
Yeah, truly special stories there, of course. And like I said a little bit earlier on, we got to give youth a chance. I know some of you are going to say, you've got grey hair, you don't qualify as youth anymore. Hey, I'm young and I want a chance on the African football continent. After the break, we'll wrap up the show and, of course, focus on some of the players that are a little bit older that will be playing at the Africa Cup of Nations. Stay tuned. And what they're doing abroad, and of course so many exciting stories with regards to this particular year in terms of African football. But we want to touch on some of the players that will be competing out at the Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco with just 3 days to go. There's lots of experience that will be heading out to North Africa. And of course, if you are someone who's watched a lot of South African football, you'll know one player in particular, that is Dominguez, Elias Pelembe. He's going to be competing at Afcon at the age of 42, Sudesh. There's a movie called Benjamin Button, when you age backwards. Yes, is that the case with Elias Pelembe?
He matures like fine wine, you know, and we all know Pelembe, outstanding player, great human being, so well conditioned. And then we have Dennis Onyango there, you know, also a former teammate of his at Sundowns. It's great to see the both of them at this ripe old age, Brati. The record is held by Egyptian great goalkeeper El Haderi, who was 44, you know. So to see these guys still playing at that age, and on that list there was also Aubameyang and Fizo. I don't know if you watched Ligue 1 in France. He's been in sublime form for Marseille, you know, Aubameyang. So it's going to be an exciting Afcon, as I mentioned. I would also like to throw in some names for people to watch, exciting youngsters, you know. Ibrahim Maza from Algeria, 20-year-old. He plays for Hertha Berlin. Lamine Camara, we followed his career from, I think, the Chan, the under-20. You know, he's now exciting. He's playing Monaco. He's got a space in the lineup. But there's one youngster I want people to watch out. 17-year-old Mbaye, Ibrahim Mbaye. He plays for PSG. 17-year-old, Senegal have taken him before France can. Keep an eye on that. Another one is DRC international Noah Sadiki from Sunderland. Sunderland has 6 players playing in this Afcon. So those are just a selection. I've got a whole list here, but those are some of the ones. But remember the name out there, Mbaye. exceptional youngster. Cameroon also got Carl Etta Young. So some exciting young talent coming through. And not forgetting the Bafana, you know, Hugo Bruce has done...
Chandra Campbell,
Tylon Smith, you know, calling up the youngsters to get a bit of taste of high-level international football. And obviously we still got Rele and Mohau. They also still very young. And our TLB.
I was about to ask you if you don't like construction or what, because how can you not mention the TLB?
20-year-old TLB.
It'd be nice to see. I mean, I was watching yesterday when Bafana was being sent off. Just happy to see how the players were excited about it. And also, one of the players specifically mentioned that it's nice to see how the young ones are coming in, especially for him. He'll be going on as a second time for Afcon. So it'll be nice to see how Bafana does. I'm excited for them.
Yes, by the way, there was breaking news today with the coach.
I was hoping that we don't get there.
What's the story there?
Listen, it's just unfortunate for me what's happening at FAS, especially because this
happened to the women's coach.
It happened earlier on when Zambia had played Namibia. Coach Nora Hapto was sent off the pitch during halftime because she had a license that was not eligible for CAF. She had a UEFA one.
UEFA license.
Same thing happening to Moses Sichoni. And I feel like these are things that should be taken care of prior to the tournament or prior to even selecting the technical team, because you know he was only put in charge after Everett Grant was let go from FAS. So you see that story of them having an issue of the CAF A license. It's unfortunate, and I hope that they find a way to make things work. Do a good PR, because Zambia needs good PR at the moment, especially now. We're talking about the players that have been added into squads. They've added on a player like Stopita Sunzu, who will join in. He is 36-year-old experienced player who will be going in to just help the squad as a defender.
And a new captain, eh?
And a new captain, Fashion Sakara. So there's a lot of
What did I say, Fiso? What did I say about the Afcon? Drama.
There's a lot of drama and a lot of news happening.
I only have one problem here. Ash was hiding all these stories.
No, listen. I need good PR for Zambia. I need Zambia to go into the Afcon with good news, but it's unfortunate that we're breaking this one, and I hope that before the Afcon starts and before they play their first match, we'll have a great team that will go on and win the first game.
Yeah, I have to ask about you. I can see you got the beautiful, colorful shirts. You're ready, no doubt, for Africa Cup of Nations. When are you heading out there, and what are you looking forward to seeing the most in Morocco?
I am heading to Morocco tonight, early morning of my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, assassin! The assassin of Abidjan.
Monfrey, can I come with you, Monfrey?
Yeah.
Bon voyage.
Please take me along to Morocco, Monfrey.
For Zambia, from what I heard from Ashley, these are recipes, ingredients for a first round exit.
Disaster, and in a very strong group.
Mamadou, please do not give us any bad omens. We need Zambia to do it.
But you created yourself. The ingredients are there.
Listen.
Everything is put together.
I will agree with you and say, yes, we've created our own problems. Right now, I will take ownership. Zambia has created its own problems right now. There's so many things that have happened. Building up. No, not first. Listen, Zambia will go all the way to the semi-finals.
They can't be. That group is very, very strong.
Listen, it's very...
First flight home.
Listen, I know that Zambia might come out in the group stages, but anything can happen. They've played Morocco too many times. Mali is a very great team, and I know that they might draw against Mali.
Sabotage with all the issues around the team, behind the scenes. Forget it.
When Zambia went to Afcon in 2012, they had a lot of issues. They were underdogs. They were the underdogs. Right now, they are going in
very stable.
They are going in very experienced with so many problems. But Zambia Kuchalo, Bora Nalesa, we will take it.
You know what? Ash is the first lady. We're gonna look after the emotions and make sure that she's happy when she leaves the show. So
don't say we have to take care of my emotions. I'm here holding my ground and saying that Zambia will do its best,
but
and we will be. I'm being realistic. We've created our own problems.
On quality, on paper, be realistic. Let's be.
I will sing the national anthem with pride. I will sing the national anthem with pride.
But we must be realistic.
Exactly. Listen, Zambia needs a miracle. a huge miracle, and I hope that the players will show up against whatever is happening in the technical side and the management side. I've been admitting.
I was trying to protect her.
No, I don't want protection. I want to be able to, when Mamadou comes here after Afcon is done and laughs at me, I need to be able to have the same energy.
You know what? I love that. I love that. And Mamadou, I have to say, happy birthday for tomorrow. Wishing you many more years. And I know everyone who is tuning in from around the continent loves the assassin. So no doubt you'll be excited for that.
Mamadou, football.
Thank you very much.
All right, so it's time for us to go.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. All right, so that's Mamadou Gay, of course. Yeah, it's been a beautiful show. There's been so much involved in it. For me, I don't know if you can see my envelope here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go join Mamadou. Thank you to Sudesh. Thank you to the entire panel. I'm going to leave
Business class flight.
No, bye, guys.
Okay. Can I accompany you?
Good night.
Well, let's have a happy Afcon.